Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. Today we're not going to be looking at any cars, though obviously this is a simulator and the main part about the simulator is the cars, but equally as important are the tracks, somewhere where you can enjoy the cars that you're driving, something that is authentic, maybe to real life or maybe to a real life location. So in that sense we're going to be looking at the tracks that came with the 1.12 update. So that is the Highlands tracks that are based in Scotland. So they say Kuno said the perfect track did not exist, so we made one. So the question is this going to be the perfect track? That's the big question here. So what you're going to see on screen whilst I'm doing this, so I'm actually recording this before having the driving all set up on screen and ready to go. So I'm going to put clips up of different cars, me driving different cars, different camera angles, stuff like that. Maybe I'll put some photos up or that kind of stuff. It all depends, but really there'll be lots and lots of different clips of different cars that I took out, sports cars, road cars, racing cars, all that kind of stuff, just to see what everything's like and to really judge which car or which type of car these tracks suit. So straight into it. There are 4 variations on this track. There's a short variation, a standard variation, a long variation, and a drift variation. So you've got the short variation is about a mile long. I think it's 1.7 kilometers, so about a mile long, and it has it seems to be more based just in and around the town area. Very, very short. Looks like it's something for some sort of quick racing or stuff like that. Then you've got the normal one, which sort of goes out on some of the country roads, and it goes around the country roads and joins up with the long one towards the end as well. So there is that, which that's not too bad a track. I think it's a bit more open. For some reason, that track in a large sense, it reminded me a little bit, I don't know, just vaguely of a very old Silverstone. I think just the shape of the track just reminded me of a very, very old Silverstone, and I don't know whether that was intended or not, but that's what it does. That's what it reminds me of. That track, I believe, is about 3 miles long. No, it's not. Is it 3 miles long? I cannot remember. But anyway, I think actually it is about 3 miles long. So you've got that track, which is that's fairly decent. Goes through some of the country roads. Like I said, some of it's joined up with the long track, which again I'm showing you various clips of this on screen. I'm not really going to say which one's which because it's the clips are just jumping between the different tracks. So I'm not going to go into which one's which because that's not the point of this review. The long track is about 12 kilometers long or something, so about 8 miles or something like that, and that has one of the longest straights of this straight. When I say straight, it's not necessarily straight. It's straightish in terms of where you're steering, but it goes up and down. There's a lot of undulation, so you've got that, which is that makes it very British in that sense, because our roads are not flat. I know in America the roads are very, very flat. The highways and that are very flat. Over here, roads, you will rarely find a road that is flat, especially a country road. Country roads are incredible in the UK, absolutely incredible. They're great to drive. They're great fun, and I'm going to talk about that and how Assetto Corsa seems to translate that as well. But lastly, you've got the drift track, which has tighter corners. Naturally, it's designed for drifting. It even opens up the roundabout in the city centre or in the town centre, so you can do donuts around it if you want. And you might see, I might put in a few clips of me actually driving, drifting the car or drifting a car. Not really sure which. I guess a Skyline R34 would be a decent one to drift. So you might see a few clips of me drifting that in here as well. Anyway, back to this. So now those are the 4 layouts that you've got. There's supposed to be something for everything, so you should be able to, within those 4 layouts, pretty much drive any car on those between those 4 layouts. So some of the layouts will suit race cars, some will suit road cars, some will suit drift cars, so on and so forth. Next up, we're going straight now into modeling texturing. Sounds, I don't really have too much to say, so let me cover sounds first. I didn't pick up on any sounds in here, which is kind of interesting, but I did pick up on some nice echo and and reverb. So that I was very happy about the reverb. It does sound like you're going through, when you're going through the town, you've got the echo as you go through the town. When you're going through the hills, you've got the echo as you're going through the hills, which I think that's quite cool. I quite like that. It just makes it sound more realistic, more authentic. So very, very pleased with that. Anyway, back to modeling and texturing and the physics mesh and stuff like that, which is the really important part of this. Everything looks modeled very nicely. Everything looks textured. In fact, the texturing is quite remarkable here. It was just immediately I could tell that we were in Britain. You could tell you were immediately in Britain, and then when you look at the mountains and stuff like that, you knew you were in either Wales or Scotland, because in Britain the best you have is a few hills. These definitely looked more mountainous than anything you get in England, apart from maybe right in the north of England. But these even look steeper than that. So really, it made it seem like this is in the Highlands of Scotland, which, they do call it the Highlands track. So I'm guessing this is something north of Dundee or something. That's where I think this is based. Somewhere north of Dundee, along that line or something. Maybe not as far north as Ben Nevis or anything, but still, fairly hilly areas. So the modelling in that sense, from the background perspective, very, very nice. Then comes the modelling of the actual road, the mesh of the road. The cobblestone in the city is great. I really like that, and we do actually have cobblestone in cities, so that's not anything unrealistic. A lot of the old towns, they have cobblestone, especially in Scotland. In fact, here some of our old roads, some of the back roads still have cobblestone areas, which now they have it more for you can just park your car on there. But you can see that they've overlaid tarmac. In fact, a lot of these roads, if you dig them up, or as we have in the UK, just end up with a pothole, you'll see cobblestone underneath there, a lot of them in the older cities. So this looks like it's based on an old town. I think at one point driving along here, I saw a church with a graveyard. So I'm thinking this is a Victorian town or something that they've based it off. The housing does look fairly Victorian as well, which I quite like. When you look at that, you can look at it and you can say, anyone in Britain can probably say at some point in their life, at least 95% of the people in Britain will be able to look at that and say at some point in their life, or currently, they are living in a house that matches something that you see in that town, whether it be the semi-detached, whether it be the terraced house, whether it be the 3-floor townhouses, or something, whatever it is over there. They will look at that and say, oh yeah, that house looks a little bit like mine, or that house is just like mine, stuff like that. So that I was quite impressed with. I love the texturing as well. Really good normal mapping on the houses, on the brickwork, stuff like that, and really, really good normal mapping on the cobblestone, which also you can feel. So I was happy about that. The detailing they've got on the road, you've got manhole covers and all that kind of stuff, just like we have in the UK in real life. So again, very happy about that. That was all great stuff. However, I find the roads too wide. Now, I think that's because of artistic freedom. I find that the roads are far too wide for actually what we get in the UK. It doesn't feel as, when you're driving on a country road in the UK, you feel more on edge because the roads are a lot narrower. This road looks like you could get 3 cars squeezed past each other on this road, if not more. So really, on a country road in real life, like this, this kind of country road, single lane country road like this, you are not going to get 3 cars past each other. You would be getting 2 cars past each other, but they would be a lot closer than what we've got going on in here. So I think they've taken artistic freedom because obviously you want to have some passing opportunities. This is supposed to be for racing and stuff like that. That's why I think they've taken artistic freedom on it, so I'm not going to knock them down for that. I'm actually going to say, okay, I'm going to ignore the width of the road. However, what I am going to knock it down for is it doesn't feel... You throughout the track, you don't really feel on edge on any of the tracks except maybe the drift track. I suppose you feel a bit more on edge on the drift track if you're not drifting, because yes, those corners are sharper. But on the other tracks, the long track, yeah, turn 3 is a bit of a nightmare, because that's one of the tracks, that's one of the corners where you actually do have to slow down quite significantly for. Speed limits on these roads are 60, by the way, in real life. So any corner that I had to slow down more than 60 for was, in my opinion, a sharper corner and a more realistic corner for a lot of these. These are just bends. These are really just bends. And I suppose, again, that's down to artistic freedom, trying to make a racetrack, and it's not really based off the roads in real life in that sense. But I was kind of hoping for some tighter roads, some narrower roads, maybe some roads that were more lined with trees. For those people who played Gran Turismo, do you guys remember Trial Mountain and Deep Forest Raceway? The way the trees line those roads, I was hoping for some sort of section here where the trees line the roads like that, because that is absolutely incredible. I love how the trees line the roads in that. It was very authentic. And as a matter of fact, that made you feel more on edge because it was a bit more enclosed. Everything was more enclosed, and I was really looking forward to seeing some of that from this track, which disappointed me. So that wasn't there. Also, there's a few texture issues. For example, the ambulances have red lights on the top, which am I going to point that out because I'm being picky? Yes, but I noticed it. I noticed it immediately. You know, there were a few things out of place. I think the roundabout sign's a bit too big. The speed limit signs are a little bit big, stuff like that. And also, you've got the signs for sharp corners, which is you've got signs for sharp corners, which is basically a board where you've got arrows pointing in the direction. You get loads of these boards put together, and that's actually telling you of a sharp corner. Where there was a sharp corner, one of them, they didn't have these. And on other corners which really weren't sharp at all, it had these arrows. So I think they've just gone, tried to make it British, but I think maybe there's been some parts where they haven't really thought about the assets that they're placing down. So that is another down for it. Apart from that, yeah, I did quite enjoy the track. I think it was quite fun. Definitely a great photo track. I wish also there weren't so many billboards and stuff like that. That's annoying. I hope someone can mod and remove those, because that would be really cool, because for photos, I think this track is absolutely going to be incredible. So, overall, don't know. I think... I don't know, Black Cat County was decent. Black Cat County was a decent track. I like this more than I like Black Cat County. Although Black Cat County had some much sharper corners. I must admit, it had some much sharper corners on the variants. So that's one in favour for that. But this one feels more flowy and more well made. I guess I've got to give this about an 8.5 out of 10. If this was based off a real track or real roads, I would definitely be knocking more off. It'd probably be about 7.5. But because it's not based off real roads, so they've got the artistic freedom to go wider on the road, stuff like that. It's only a real location, or based off a location. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10, I think. Not an incredible track, great for photos, definitely decent for racing, but for driving, no. And another thing they really should have done is they should have made a free roam version of this. You've got roads, they all interconnect, just open them up, let people drive. So that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments box or send me a message on Twitch what you guys think of this track. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember on YouTube to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa. Follow me on Twitch for more videos on Assetto Corsa. And like I said, leave a comment. And do check out my Patreon scheme. Link to that is in the description box below. I would massively appreciate your support. It will allow me to continue making videos like this. Next video, well, there's a few things I want to do. but I think one of them is going to take a couple of weeks still. So maybe with the Formula 1 season around the corner, I think maybe I'll go look at some Formula 1 cars again. I think I'll do that. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll do something different, something that you guys will definitely like. Make sure you guys tune in for that.